Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, welcome to the Pilosopo podcast. My name is Jiggy Jr., and today our guest is first-termer Cebu City Councilor and former barangay captain of Sambaguno. Of course, he's seeking his second term in the 2019 elections. His name, I'm sure you're familiar with his name, Jerry Guardo. Sir, daghang salamat sa anin diri sa atuang interview, the Pilosopo podcast. We're here at the family room of the Cebu Grand Hotel. We'd like to thank Noreen Villegas and of course Carlos Suarez for lending us their beautiful hotel. Sir, maayong buntag sir, or maayong hapon or maayong gabi, depende sa unsang oras sa tagitanaw nila.
Maayong buntag, Jiggy. It's my honor also to be interviewed here sa my Pilosopo podcast. So I'm glad I'm having this opportunity nga maka-speak ko what I did for the city and then personally how I became a councilor also.
Okay, first question ako, sir. What are your family, spiritual, educational background that has led you to this moment right here, right now? Nga na Cebu City Councilor man ka, unsa man imong naagian nga naabot ka anining posisyon na karon?
Actually, ang ako yung dad may nag-inspire yun ako how I become a politician because ang desire niya good was really to serve the public. He ran for sa among hometown dito sa but I noticed that he failed twice. I think he's running for mayor in our hometown.
Okay.
So that really struck me how I can also be a better service ba. Then sa ako kay ang among hometown is in Cantilan and then we grew up na diri sa Cebu.
Okay.
So I live in Sambagono. So diha gid ang akong start sa akong political career. So actually I'm not really interested about politics but nakita lang ako that nga there's really also a need ba nga na clamor bitaw nga ang mga tao in our barangay are looking for a change ba. So
asa kining Sambaguno, sir?
Barangay Sambagono is boundary sa kanang Abiliana,
okay,
kanang San Carlos Girlsay, sa Twistern, kana siya nga boundaries and then kanang mga residential diyang area.
You mentioned Magud earlier that you didn't want to be in politics. In fact, you were just sort of pushed into this position.
I'm into business actually.
Okay.
And then
so nagnegosyo ka pag human naay kinsa man ning tawhan lang nga nagtuod nimo nga barangay captain ka.
Ako arsang friends sa barangay.
Okay.
Encourage me nga, hey, why don't you try and run for public service, start barangay captain. So at that time, I am up against the incumbent ba. I am from nothing. I don't have any background into politics. I'm not a barangay councilor. Then that would be my first time nga go against the incumbent.
Who was incumbent in Sambaguno at that time?
Don Arquisa.
Okay.
So mo lang to nga so I try lang na akong they push me and then all of the sudden murag dagan ang clamor bitaw from different group na ba, mga youth and then other murag ni lobby behind sa kuha and then so that's it. Murag I was encouraged na kay a lot of mga supporters are coming in to help me volunteer sa kuha. So that's really encouraging. So I end up running yun sa katong incumbent. And luckily, I won. So.
The first time that you tried in politics, nakadaog di ka?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay.
So, mo nga, this is my start of my political career.
What year was this again, sir?
I think 1995.
Okay.
Something. That's my serving in barangay captain. I finished 3 terms.
Okay.
So 11 years. So I think that was 1995.
Okay.
Then that's how I started my political career. So mo to nga and then I found out nga I find joy, happiness in serving the people bitaw nga makatabang ka nila unsay demand nila, say hangyo nila, and then you can implement projects ang ilang mga concerns, ma-address mo ilang mga concerns, ang mga needs nila, mga personal. So I found my passion ba in helping and serving the people sa barangay. So and that was really encouraging. So mo to nga start na akong political career. So after ato mo to there was an opportunity. I was invited by the party to run for the city councilor na. So Moto nag-start na sa dang akong position for to run for the
Let's pause a little bit. What was the highlight of your being barangay captain, sir? Unsa may pinaka memorable nga incident na tabo during the your 3 terms as barangay captain? Significant, good or bad, it doesn't matter.
Ang ako lang major accomplishments na ako lang like address ang concern nila sa flooding and particularly sa Aurelio area no. At least I was able to help them nga ma-alleviate sila sa ilang problema sa flooding, and then ang katong mga kuan nila nga mga practically mga basic services good sad no nga kuan and also mga infrastructure projects, mga concreting, asphalting,
So mo to highlight si mo career as a barangay captain.
More than basic ra magid ang services magid sa barangay, so that's
So after your 3 terms as barangay captain after 11 years, unsa may nitabo to, so ni detso nagdagan og city councilor o napakay murag pahuway nga gamay?
During my second term, there was an opportunity. Ginvite ko sa party to run for the for the city councilor.
Okay.
So I was with the opposition, but I found it really difficult running against the incumbent and administrations, and then you're up against you're from the opposition party, and it was my first time, so it's really difficult to.
So you decided to continue running for
I
barangay.
lost twice. In my attempt to run as a city councilor.
Okay.
So until
Third time lucky. Pag third time you won. What were the lessons that you learned during those 2 tries that you lost running for Cebu City Councilor? Unsa may imong nangaton na sir nga maybe perhaps you were able to apply on the third time?
well, at least you have to establish also a relationship, and then basic service, continue to do service, but not only in your barangay, but extend your service also to other barangay, because people will ultimately demand from you and say what you can do and what you can help for the city, particularly sa ila sang barangay. So you have to be specific on sa imo ang position, on sa imo ang kuan. So mo tay na-learn ako nga, I think I have to extend not only in my barangay, but I'm doing good in the result the election in my barangay. But what about the other barangay? So you have to extend my services and then delivery sa mga other barangays also. So that's how you have to establish your name para ma-identify ka nila dito.
So I guess the two losses that you had, 2 tries that you had, helped you win the third time, right? Murag, the longer you were campaigning, the more people you met, the more votes you got, I guess. So I assume that after the third try, murag sakto na gid imong boto nga masud jud ka sa top 8, magic 8 or whatever you call it, right? Sir, you're now a Cebu City Councilor, first term. You're still about to finish your first term. Inigmata nimo sa buntag, sir, when you wake up in the morning, what inspires you to do and continue to do what you're doing now, serving the people? What inspires you?
Actually, ang kuan yun, there's really a lot of people are still in need for kuan yun, access to basic services yun. Nga ang health nila sa health, o niya sa mga projects, particularly mga depressed area bitaw, they're really in need for more infrastructure development sa ilang mga rural areas nila. So I saw their problem, particularly sa mga drainage problem nila. So muna nakita na ako nga naigi problema bitaw, i-need yun kayo nga maybe I can help them sa kanang aspect ibali sa kuan. So I'm happy now that being the chairman sa infra nga I can help address on sa mga concerns nila. So ang akong passion was really to provide on sa mga problema nila, to help them sa ilang mga problem, particularly sa mga drainage or whatever. So muna ang ako ang kuan.
So when you wake up in the morning and prepare for the day, muna imuhang murag inspiration nga, you have to go out there and serve the people.
Yes,
is there like a maybe perhaps a way of thinking, or maybe a person, a politician or not, that you look up to nga murag imuhang imuhang na-inspire imong life gikan na ng mga tawhana or maybe perhaps a way of thinking na-inspire po ka?
Wala. Practically, ang ako nakita gyud ang need gyud sa mga
Mga tao.
masa gyud.
Okay.
Mo ginay nakita nako nga how unsay matabang nako ngadto nila.
That moment when you were convinced by your friend, sir ba nga, padaganon ka og barangay captain ng katong panahon nga dili ka politiko pa, kaning what was the final nail to the coffin, so to speak, nga murag mudagan jud ko unsa may imuhang na murag what light bulb moment was there nga nakaingon ka mudagan jud ko unsa man tong butanga ka paminaw nimo?
Actually, at that time, murag blanco gyud ko. I don't know, have political background. Basta mga politics, siguro na. Huwag yung kalibutan. Kaya ang ako mong kuha ni Sir Lin to business world gyud ba?
Yeah.
Negosyo ra gyud nga kuha. So, ang ako lang, pag when I kuha na enter politics na, it's all about public service, magiday. So, kung na kay kuha, then unsay ma-share nimo, how you can, ang blessing bitaw nimo, ma-share nimo sila ha. And then unsay makatabang lang ka nila, ma-address nimo ilang mga concern, mga problema nila. So, for me, that really inspires me. So, siguro, at least in our little way, makatabang ta diri nga aspect ba, magamit bitaw ta. So, mo to nalipay kay ko nga, diya nga kuan, I can be kuan, I can magamit ko nila in this public service kibale.
In the first three times that you ran for Cebu City Councilor, and you lost twice and you won the third time, you were under the Rama group, right? And midway into your term as Cebu City Councilor, you jumped parties from the Rama group to the Osmena group. What happened, sir? Why did you decide to jump ship, so to speak?
After the election, actually, ang pagkuan after sa election, magod, we found out we do not expect that we're in the opposition nga party ba nga kuan. So, couple of months nga I'm into kuan serving as a city councilor, I found out being a councilor without any committee chairmanship. So, it's really difficult for me to serve. Ang ako mag-mandate sa mga tao, and I make a promise that when I become elected, I will help you, I will support you. Once I need, I do provide public service. But when we end up being an opposition, we are not I found it that I am not an effective councilor because I cannot provide what I promised to the people during the campaign.
Why not? Kung kinanglang gyud sa mga tao diyan niya. Anong dili man, why can't you provide the services that they need if you're in the opposition? What's wrong with being in the opposition?
Being in the position, man, God, you don't have any committee chairmanship, and that's politics in our city na to, right? So people are asking for help, that even my signatures are not being honored by the city department head. So if they ask for me to help them access to sa health, sa kanang katong champ natong program, so for all our requests for asphalt, cement, concrete infrastructure projects, drainage projects, other concerns, everything, we don't have access to that. So I find myself very, very ineffective. So I cannot do public service
you're an elected official, elected into office by the people of Cebu. Ngano man nga imuhang signature will not be accepted? Nganong ineffective man ka kung naka sa position? Ngano man di isn't governing, running a city or a country for that matter all about checks and balances? So naagi na opposition, kinahanglan epektibo sa silahang pag-opposition, napoy incumbent, napoy administration. So epektibo pud silahang ilang pag-administration. So this dynamic allows a city to have checks and balances. Ngano man hinuon nga kung opposition ka, useless na inong ka, mahog?
No, I agree sa check and balance, but ang ako amang good when I decide to run into politics, ang ako agad is to provide public service.
Okay.
But it ended up when I become part of the opposition, we don't have any committee chairmanship. So
committee chairmanships are being appointed, not you don't vote amongst yourselves. The mayor or the who?
If you handle a committee, then you are deputized to execute what is under your committee chairmanship. Like,
Okay.
for example, if I'm the chairman committee on infrastructure, so I can manage and then I can supervise all infrastructure projects under the city
Okay.
Government projects. So, like, and if you don't have any committee chairmanship, you just do check and balance lang ka. Nga kuan, you don't
So you mean to say you have no funds to sort of use to
Yes.
to make sure that your projects move forward?
yes, yes.
So it's a person who's under the administration that has the power, access
yeah,
to funds.
To funds, yeah. To
Wow.
projects. So, like being the chairman sa infra, barangay captains are asking for requests for asphalt or cement or projects, drainage projects in the barangay. So, in so doing, being the chairman of the infra, at least I can help provide service sa different barangay. And not only that, other concern nila, under my committee chairmanship, I can also address like requests for like I have my own program, the municipal program. No, we do the clogging, so I can provide all the requests for the clogging. They're having problems with their flooded areas. So and then request for the lights and kuan. Sa repair sa mga kuan kaning mga deep well nga kuan. So I'm in my own little way, being the chairman of these committees, I can do public service sa ako ang mga.
But you have to be under the administration, right?
Yes,
So under the Osmena Group to be able to have access to these funds. Otherwise, you won't have access.
Yes,
That's a sad state of affairs. What if katuang, let's say, na serbisyo nga kinanglan gyud sa barangay, for example, nya kinanglan ka og let's say 100 million pesos to execute that project, for example, but you're in the opposition, so you will never get approval from the council and from the mayor if you're in the opposition.
if you're in the position,
Magyud.
wala. So ang kuan lang, if you're with the administration, you can provide.
So, meaning, are you suggesting that kanang sa ato ang syudad, we need to have all administration to be effective? Dili ta wag yung opposition ay. Kay mura man kog ang purpose gyud ng democracy, right, is that the people are able to choose people that they think are competent to serve them, di ba? So ako di botar ko nimo kay maayo ka, kibaw ko makatabang kanako. So if you're an elected official, if you're a city councilor, ni botar ko nimo pag human wala kay post kay naka sa position, isn't that a waste of my vote, waste of my time?
Ang Quadjig, we have different principle magod, no? Ang ako lang, I find it mas effective ko being a city councilor if I am with the I do perform executive functions.
Okay.
Nga kuan, so mao na ang ako ang kay ultimately ang kami magod nagnindagan nagpapili mi, di ba, sa mga constituents to become councilor para for us to serve. Pero if I find myself nga na ako sa posisyon, I find myself nga
You find it difficult.
ineffective sa ako.
You're not effective.
Yeah, I'm not.
So mahog sa your loyalty is to the people.
Yeah, my loyalty is to the people.
Okay.
Ang ako,
So you're not loyal to any specific party. You are not loyal to the Rama group, and you jump ship to the Osmena group. But the reason for that is loyal to the people. Is that what you're trying to say, sir?
Ang mo gina ang ako ang
Sir, unsa may diferensya, sir, sa let's just say karon kay Labella na may nidagan pagamayor, the Labella group and the Osmena group. What are the ideological differences between these two groups of politicians? Unsa may diferensya gyud nila? Ngano man nga ako mobotar ko sa grupo ni Osmena or ako mobotar ko sa grupo ni Labella? What do these two parties stand for?
actually both parties offer the same basic services. More maganda nga kuan, di ba? Ang program ba, pero nakita lang ako with the Osmena group na he has the kuan sa ang vision ba, ang direction niya, and then that fit my kuan sa ako sa nga kuan.
What do you mean by vision, sir? Unsa may ang vision there, sir?
Plans for the city, the program. So ang vision gid ni Mayor for example sa SRP, mga investments there kuan. So And
But he's been mayor for a long time, right? Pila na siya ka-terms as mayor, sir? Siguro hapit na ma-20 ka tuig, di ba? If you total every term that he's ever had, right? Isn't that enough time for him at a certain point to accomplish his vision? Or why are we still talking about vision? Isn't vision something that is sort of near long term? Dugi-dugi naman siya nga mayor, sir. Ngano naon sam to yung vision day pagkasugod niya sa pagka-mayor day nga na-accomplish ba to niya or naghimo na siya dyan lang vision for the next 20 years? Unsa may what do you mean by vision?
Like ang SRP, there's still a room for expansion
Okay.
sa SRP.
Okay.
No? Now, there have been investments coming in, pouring investments like the USRI, they're pouring 18 billion investment there, and it will generate more employment. And then we still have the Fund A, the 60-hectare property, and then develop it as sa call center city. So, and then ang just sa transportation nato diri sa city. So mga program, healthcare program, nakita na ko.
So nagyapoy kuan kaning murag room to dream bigger.
Yeah.
Sir, talking about vision, obviously the crafters, the builders of this city did not envision the traffic monstrosity of a problem that we have now. Murag ato ang negosyo, sir, ang akong pag radio announcer, podcast host, murag part-time na lang, full-time driver ko. Kay pirmi ko na sa daan. You know what I mean? In fact, that's what this podcast is for you guys to listen to me and to us, Jerry and me in your cars. Noon sa naman, sa ngano maning wala man na foresee sa atong crafters of the city of Cebu, ngano maning na inani naman eh. Kasi tanaw ni mo, sir, why vision? Ano sa man eh?
Actually, na may vision, like the BRT, that was envisioned, I think, 10 years ago.
Okay.
Pero grabe kayo ang bureaucracy ba? Nga dugay kayo ang implementation. So, mo na the BRT, the LRT or the monorail, that's what we're talking right now sa council, the mass transit, no? Pero ang like Congressman Delmar would say nga ang mas worst kung problema ta diri sa kuan, mas grabe sad ka worst dito sa Manila. So ang kuan dito sa Manila, they're focused na sa kuan dito sa addressing sa traffic problems sa dito sa National Capital Region sa Manila. So greater, so ang atoa ningo sila nga dili pa kuno kayo ingna naka-worst ang Cebu, so na delay ba na kuan, so and then until sa certain karon nga grabe na kayo nga mao pa sila mo react kung unsa naka-worst ang kuan. That's how the DOTR or the national government respond diri sa mga regional nga mga problems sa regional area. So that's why if you notice ang development 80% siguro about 70 to 80% sa atong national era nato goes to the national government dito sa Luzon. So na sila ilang mass transit, na sila underpass dito. So ang atoa, we're still in the study pa, implementation, but at least nasa sa pipeline.
But don't we have statistics to show that ang ato ang population is growing? We have a growing middle class thanks to the BPO industry and the other industries that are thriving, so people can afford vehicles. Murag ma-predict man sa dili man ingon nga it comes out of nowhere. These variables that you're talking about are predictable, and it's easier for a person running the city to foresee. Dili ka kinalag vision ana kay klaro na namas tubangan nimo naman, it's in figures, and you know the number of cars nga will increase, for example, this year, next year, so you will know 10 years from now pila ka auto nga nasa kadalanan. So this doesn't even require vision. This requires just looking at the figures. So ang akong nahibulungan, sir, and a lot of our brothers and sisters in Cebu who are car owners are nahibulong mi nganong ninani man nga dili man ni kaning pagpalit og auto, dili man ni kalit lang daghang auto, magkahinay-hinay man nagdagan, ma-predict man na siya. What do you think happened, and what can we still do? Napabatay mabuhat ani or mo-give up na lang tani, manghinampiling lang tas kadalanan ani.
Actually, ang kuan na nasa pipeline right now for
Okay.
implementation ng BRT.
Okay.
And then we already started to talk about the mass transit. We already approved, there were proponents who
Okay.
submitted their proposal sa city, mga I think duha ka buk nga investors, no?
Okay.
And then ang process man gud after they get approval diri sa city, and then they still have to go to the DOTR, sa national government, and
Okay.
have a NIDA approval before we can implement for the bidding. So it would really take ang process ba, ang procedure. But at least gistoryaan, we already started to talk about this mass transit nga pagkuhan. So nakita na to, we foresee that once we implement this mass mode of transport sa mass transit, it would really help sa kuhan gyud na to, sa solving the traffic problem sa city. Aside from the BRT, so dunay sa BRT man na sa kuhan, no, sa and then we have the elevated.
Okay, explain to our listeners and viewers what BRT is. Unsa mo ginang BRT, sir, para maklaro na to?
Bus rapid transit.
Okay, so
ang mode of transport na using the bus as a medium kibali.
Okay.
Ang kuan. Then they have nasa specific route niya nga magianan niya no sa kuan ang elevated kaning mass transit nato kaning murag train ba nga kuan. So but specific sa ang iyang ang route sa niya sa mass transit.
You know, some parts of the world are burrowing, digging, drilling holes under their cities. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a viable option here for Cebu? Kanang mga underground na?
Yeah, pero
mahal na kayo?
Costly lang kayo. Costly kayo ang implementations. But for now, dili pa kayo. Para nako, going underground, dili pa kayo siya. Ingana na gid ka need kayo. Kay, dako mo kayo maintenance na costly kayo. You dig underground. Bitaw, grabe kayo. So, para nako siguro, ideally for now, ang kuan gyud ang mass transit sa
over the over the roads.
BRT, we can implement that the BRT and then the mass transit. That would help a lot sa tuang transportation crisis there.
Aside from building bridges, building flyovers, burying or drilling holes, as part of our overall solution to the traffic problem that we have here, sir, pwede man sad nga mo incentivize ta sa mga tao nga magbisikleta, for example. We will have, for example, tax breaks for those who will take bicycles, nga tax incentives nga kung magbisikleta ka, na kay tax break or whatever. We will have to find a way to measure, for example, the number of kilometers that you've used your bike, maybe through a mobile app, for example, kana mga or encourage palakbon ang mga tao. Pwede man na, di ba? If we build cleaner roads and clean our city, maybe I will be encouraged to walk because that's it's beneficial to my health as well as to the traffic situation of Cebu. Are we thinking also along those lines, or mag-build lang kita para kung mag-build para lang masulbal atong traffic problem? How about incentivizing people who ride bicycles, magbisikleta, for example? What are your thoughts on that?
That's okay man, no problem with that program. Ang kuan man gud ang people are still looking for inconvenience and safety ba. Okay, there are people.
So are you saying that the city is not safe?
No, if you ride a bicycle kana magbisikleta kay na bitaw dili kayo sa tungod sa grabe nga traffic and then you ride along with the kuan bitaw. Kaya nga to mga problema, the city our roads are very narrow. So in fact
that's a lack of vision.
Yeah, in fact we provided ang mga bike lane bitaw. But asam na to provide na to nga kuan nga naman we don't have no more room space to provide a bike lane ba sa kuan. So mo na maximize utilize siya all for vehicle nga purpose ang kanang mga lane na to. Sa cutting third bridge na to, we require them to put up a bike lane. So mga bago nga mga infrastructure, so new road openings, we already provided nga include yun ang bike lane na. But karon man gud murag existing naman gud ang ato ang infrastructure bitaw. So we plan to have more to widen the roads ingana, but the road right of way acquisitions are also having us a hard time ba to negotiate for the landowner and then have it settlements. So it's really difficult to implement. We have vision to widen the roads.
That's why you give bicycle owners incentives, because like you said, it's dangerous, right? That's why you give them incentives, because you'll get sweaty and maybe you'll be exposed to the elements, that's the dust, the rain, and maybe you'll get hit by a car. So that's why you give them incentives, because they're in a way endangering their lives. Tagaan mo sila incentive nga mag-bisikleta ka, I will give you tax breaks, for example, para because see, the thing is, sir, if everybody signs up for the incentive. If more people are riding bikes, there are less cars on the road, so it becomes more safe. There are less cars on the road, it becomes cleaner because there's less pollution. It's a domino effect that if people just start riding bicycles, incentivize nimo, then maybe there'll be more bicycles on the road compared to vehicles. Anyway, Cebu is such a small place, right? I mean, like at the time that it takes to go to let's say Banilad to Talamban is you can do that in 10 minutes bisikleta ka, but mag-auto ka, it'll probably take you an hour. Ano bitaw, sir? So maybe you should think about that.
We'll study about that giving incentives sa mga bicycle riding public.
Let's go to another subject, sir. I hear this a lot. Most of the some of the politicians kuno, sir, are mura ginegosyo naman ang ilang politika, eh. Mura ba siya instead of serving the people, they look at it as a business. My question is being a politician profitable? Is being a politician financially rewarding, or kinanglan jud ka og naa kay backup plan, naa kay negosyo currently so that you will be able to feed your family?
Actually, if you really go into public service, no, so kuan dia sa city council, you have to get full-time yun. In fact, sa akong business right now nga kuan, so I started to kuan sa finish na lang ako what I have for my kuan, then I have to focus on my being a politician yun, full-time. Nakita na ko nga, if you really wanted to serve, you have to serve full-time yun sa city.
So how about you have a family to feed? You know, you have bills to pay. You're not Superman. In other words, you have to eat as well, right? So, unsa man, sir, can those two things coexist? Your needs, your growing needs as an individual, as a family, and serving the people?
We have naman may kanang family business na kuan. So aside from sa kuan, we have our own company, family business na mo.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is dili gyud na enough nga magpolitician lang ka. It's not enough. Your salary as a politician will never suffice in meeting your needs, your growing needs.
Yes, so ang kuan, you have to balance lang yun nga kuan. But I can no longer engage in my own business lang. But to support me financially, my family, we have our own existing family business.
Okay.
I decided nga kuan na lang, I have to go back to our own business nga among strand dito sa kuan. But engaging in other business pa other than our family katong sa kuan na mo. I mean personal nga kuan. So I find it difficult na, so I decided nga if I go into politics, I have to be full-time sa being a politician.
So do you think your comrades are also doing the same? Do you think that your fellow politicians, your fellow councilors, the mayor and vice mayor, do you think they're also doing the same as you? And although you're serving and have a salary, monthly salary as a city councilor, they also have family businesses on the side, or full-time gina sila, wag na sila lang panginabuhi gud pagka politician na gud. Na kadaghanan na lang ara sila negosyo ginagmay.
I think they have their own business at nga kuan. Before they get into politics, na sila existing nila.
So you're trying to say, sir, nga it is a myth that people are saying if you're a politician, you're rich. If you're a politician, daghan kag kwarta kay, daghan kag opportunity to make money as a politician. Is that a truth or is that a myth?
I think that's a myth.
So, musod kag politics to make money is not it's a lie. In other words.
Yeah, actually, if you get into the politics, no, so you have to focus with what you can do to the people.
I see mga good politicians whose bank accounts grow all of a sudden because they're in politics. You know, you hear that a lot about politics. The president was criticized and how much his wealth has grown from before he became president until he became president. So, it is almost common knowledge para nako, at least with my peers, na kung adto kag politics, makakwarta jud ka kay naa kay mga, kick dire, kick diha, kick back here, kick back there, under the table here, under the table. Is that a myth? is that only happening with a small group of politicians, or is that commonplace in politics, especially in Cebu City?
I think that's only a perception again na siya nga kuan kay like what we did right now sa council, no?
Okay.
We don't hold sa kuan accounts with being a legislator. Ang amo is just to pass a resolution, an ordinance, but the one sa do the bidding and all
the
that,
awarding?
or the awarding
Kinsa man na sila, sir?
is the executive. So we don't have involvement.
So
in
it's the
any-
mayor or the vice mayor, or just the
No,
mayor?
Not even the mayor, but there were appointed mga bids and awards committees.
Okay.
So
But who appoints these bids and awards committee people?
it's the executive.
So it's still the mayor.
Yes, the
Okay.
mayor.
Okay.
But we as a legislator, we just pass resolutions and ordinance and then focus on our assignments, our committee assignments, how we can be more efficient in helping the people, how we can improve the delivery of basic services to the committee chairmanship assigned to us. So that's our trust. That's my main trust. How I can be more effective in helping or managing these departments. So, mo na nakita na ako because at first when I saw being the chairman sa infra, there's no coordination between our DPW and then the DPWH projects. So, overlapping ba sa implementation sa projects. So, I now started to consolidate and to connect these two departments because the DP, they have huge projects funds from the national government. So I told our engineers, while we have limited resources as city, we need to connect to the DPWH so we can get more access to bigger funds from the national government.
Okay.
So para mas daghan tag ma-implement nga projects. Kay nakita na ko, sometimes we do spalting, we implemented spalting there is sa city, we use the city funds, and then all of a sudden, doon na the projects na gi-prepare ang national government for the road concreting. So, magdoble ba? So, in order for us to avoid kanang overlapping of these functions, kanang implementation of these projects, we need to coordinate sa DP. So,
Speaking of projects, speaking of road projects, sir, this is really almost like an old song, murag broken record bitaw nga every time it's almost election, there are always lots of road construction. And people have put two and two together and they're saying, election magod pa dong. So, okay, nang kwarta si Kuan, si Mayor, si Councilor, or si Kuan. Unsa man na, sir, ngano man na, sir, why is it that there's so many road construction, not just this year, but every election year, daghan kayo projects, especially road projects na mga daan, do not really need to be replaced or reconstructed, are being reconstructed. So magduda ng mga tao nga ano man nga kanang daan, that road was working very well, there were no problems, and then all of a sudden giguba. So ang common cry namo sa mga katawhan, as observers lang, is election magud. So what is that all about? Pasabta ko nami, sir.
Actually, ang before we implement the project, we do a lot before that sa planning, sa studying, bitaw, so sa documentations and bidding. So it would really take time, and then you pass by the council resolutions before it gets approval by the mayor. So we do it annually actually. We have annual budget, like 20% of our development fund goes to infrastructure projects. So right now, what you see, because there was a merger man goods implementation sa project from the DPWH, and before, DPWH cannot implement mga infrastructure projects like road concreting, drainage project, if it is not a national roads. So, but because of this program, the DPWH, DTI, and Department of Tourism, Department of Agriculture convergence funds. So the national government can now implement infrastructure projects like road concreting, even if it is a city roads. So we benefit, the city government now benefits from this program. Unlike before, the DPWH can only implement road concreting on those declared national roads. But now, because of this program, at least that's why you see grabe kayo implementations right now.
So this has been going on for time immemorial because
Yes, yes.
every time na election or election year daghan jud kay road construction projects murag dili lang ni karon ha. I'm not talking about during your term as councilor. I'm talking about every election year naagi na siya. Well, those two are not connected. Kanang road construction ug election wa na siya connection, mga connection na siya, mga conspiracy theory na sa mga katawhan patanaw nimo wa gyud na connection.
Well, there's no connection about it. Siguro during kuan lang there was a increase lang sa budget allocation for these projects.
Pero dili ra na karon ha, pirmi na sila. I'm sure when you were a private citizen naka-observe sa gani nga daghan na mga road construction nga padung election siguro. Unsa man wala wa gyud na connection sir?
Wala connection, nakita na ako.
Okay.
Ang kuan lang ang asphalt manggod will last mga 2 to 3 years. Nakita na mo ba?
What do you mean? May expire ng asphalt? What do you mean by 2 to 3 years? What do you mean?
When do asphalt pavement, ang iyang lifetime na niya would only last mga 2 to 3 years, malubak, guba na sad ang dalan, rain or shine, di ba?
Wala day isn't there better technology?
Ang trust karon ni
why is it
Mayor,
asphalt naman? Is there a better way to cement or fix the roads?
yeah, we're actually going now, ang direction ng Mayor was to have more concreting projects instead of the asphalt nga pavement. Kay nakita na mo sa engineering, asphalting will only last mga 2 to 3 years. After malubak, buak na sa itong asphalto.
Correct, yeah.
And then mag-retreading na sa ta, maintenance na sa. So we find it more costly for the city government to implement asphalting. Kay sige, every 3 years, that's why kita diba, election na sad, sige na sa asphalto. Kay mo na ang pagkaguba na sa asphalto. So right now, magkakuan ka sa city roads, makita nimo nga doon na concreting mga projects, di ba? So mo na ang atong trust sa city
So how
government.
long does concrete last? Kung ang asphalt is 2 to 3 years, how about concrete?
Lifetime naman na, dugan na ang
Okay.
asphalt, ang concreting. So
Okay.
we find it nga although mas expensive siya.
By how
but
much?
I think three times
Three
siguro.
times more expensive, okay.
But the good thing lang kay once lang ta mo invest, but ang concreting na to is there for a lifetime na siya nga kuan, di na siya malata, no? Nga kuan. So unlike sa asphalt, every 3 years we allocate another budget. So the mayor instructed us that we might as well spend costly sa concreting, but we only invested once rather than asphalting ta, although mas cheaper siya, but after 3 years we have to asphalt again ang atong road. So muna right now, if you noticed, doon na yung mga roads na to nga gipang concrete na. But ultimately ang atong direction was to have all the roads in Cebu City concreted na siya.
Aside from road projects, sir, there are other projects that require a lot of funds, right? And because of the sorry state of our city council, nga sige lang tag-away, we're always squabbling on niya paghuman stalemate kadaghanan kay the administration and the opposition are evenly divided. Are you suggesting, sir, nga daghan tag mga projects nga wala na hitabo because of our internal fighting amongst councilors? Natay mga proyekto diya nga naon tay kwarta pero was not started because of the fighting, the infighting. Nabe daghan diyan. So natay mga milyones diya nga wala nagamit.
No, ang sorry state lang diya sa council og ang check and balance, that's normal, no? The check and balance, but if ang executive, the councilor being dominated by the opposition, the executive would really having a hard time implementing this project.
So what happens to the projects that are not implemented? So the money goes to waste. How does it work?
No, it's just stays
there. So natay daghang kwarta niya.
delayed lang ang implementation.
Pero implemented eventually.
Oh yeah, that would be implemented once the council approve for the one, because
So the stalemate does not last forever. I mean, like for the entire term of the councilor or the mayor.
Like now that the executive had majority seats in the council, so we don't have problems in implementing these projects.
Okay.
Na kay,
Ikaw ba yung naka-break sa stalemate, sir, or the administration already did have a majority of the council?
I was the one
Who broke the stalemate?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I transferred to the parties to the.
So how does it work there, sir? Like how many councilors are there in your district? 8, right?
Combined and North and South District, right now, we're 10 against 8.
So every time there's a project nga na funds nga allocate, you guys vote it out?
Yeah.
And then
we agree and we approve.
whoever has the majority, so 50% or 51% majority, then the project is awarded for that specific project. The money is allocated for that project. And
that will be implemented.
That's the way it works?
Yeah. So it needs the approval first of the council before the mayor will be.
But it's possible for the mayor to veto the project, right?
Yeah.
So ani kumanan, for example, ako, I am in the opposition, and then I have the majority of the city council. But when it goes to the mayor, he vetoes it. So why kumanan? What is there like a legal way out of this mess? For example, kanang dili bitaw mausik ang panahon sa syudad bitaw? Wala bay solusyon na. Unsa man na pagkuan, sir?
That's why ang campaign right now sa kuan is really to have the majority of the council ang sa executive, no? Mo gina ang campaign right now.
Pero ang check and balance wag tangsad. Kay majority na whatever you want, you can get it because you have the majority of the seats.
But the advantage about it, because there will be a swift and faster way to implementing the projects. So mas pas-pas na ang pag-implement sa mga projects.
Sir, I came across this line a few years ago nga whatever keeps us together is bigger than what divides us. Ang mga butang nga nata in common as human beings, ang atong mga needs, mga wants, mga desires, mas dako pa na sa atong mga butang nga di ta magkasinabot. So naay mga butang nga, I don't agree with you, di ko motuo nga kaning for example na Ginoo, ikaw motuo ka, pero at the end of the day, pareha ra tag mga wishes and desires, mga longings, human na punta, makinanglan gyapon makakaon, ganahan ta og kaning ginhawa og limpyo nga hangin, ganahan tag peace and order, kaning. Do you have that as a politician sitting in the Council of Cebu? Do you have that sort of brain, that thinking? Mag-away ta pero at the end of the day, tao raman ta, parihan ta mga panghinanglan.
Yeah, actually, that's normal in the council, no? We cannot agree or on one project.
It's not in council, it's in life, right?
But that's normal for us nga mag-deliberate me dito sa council. But at the end of the day, if it is for the good and welfare of the constituents of the city, then we agree and we vote for it.
So we
actually check and balance the council.
Because we are under the impression that the city council is so divided that nothing gets done. Pero are you suggesting na kaning mga cases na wa mo nagasinabot, isolated na siya kadaghanan, magasinabot lagid mo?
Yeah, those are isolated ra kayo. We normally argue, discuss, and then unsay differences, unsay oppositions. But at the end of the day, we come up into terms unsay what is really best for the city, and then we approve for it.
So kanang mga ma-reach sa newspaper, for example, kanang wa nagsinabot or stalemate, those are just isolated cases. Most of the time, of course, kung magsinabot mo, that's not news, right?
Yeah.
Murag boring mo na, di ba? Murag dili mo na siya newsworthy, I guess, right? So the news media just picks up on the things nga gaaway mo. Dili nagasinabot mo.
But there are actually a lot of things or projects or plans or ordinances that really approve. We argue at first, but at the end of the day, we come up into terms what is really best for the city.
For the city, okay.
Yes.
Sir, how much does it cost to win an election for a Cebu City Councilor? In your first try, on your second try, on your third try, finally you won. Have you found a sweet spot in which you can say pila ka million, 3 million siguro, daog ta? How much does it cost to win an election here in Cebu City for councilor lang, more or less? And is it worth it?
Actually, basically, what you have to spend, no, ang kanang mga tarpaulin, mga allowances sa imo mga supporters, for the duration of the campaign, siguro that would, sa ako personally, makuha mga 1M, and then, but I have to get kanang campaign hard. Like I have to wake up early in the morning at 5 o'clock and then join the handshaking. and then the different carousel campaign sorties, schedules. You really have to campaign hard yourself. You have to make visible.
So 1 million ra? 1 million kung naka 1 million nga tinagawan niya, pwede kang madagag councilor?
If you,
And is it worth it? What I'm trying to say is kanang pagkampanya nimo nga 1 million imong panahon, the time, the effort that you have to spend to win an election is it's priceless, right? The time away from the family, for example, the time away from whatever you love to do instead ng kampanya ka, or maybe that's the thing that you love to do maybe. So worth it ba siya, sir? Now that you are sitting Cebu City Councilor, was it worth it? Ni kaingon ka nga katong kahago nako nga duha ka tuig na pildi ko, duha ka election na pildi ko karon murag I feel fulfilled, murag it's really worth it both emotionally and financially.
yeah, if you are really into public service, if you have that passion, if you have that love for being a politician, to love to serve, so you really don't find murag there's no wala na value ang kanang gasto niyo ba. You don't kuan basta ang imo lang murag for me I find it fulfilling maka-serve ko nila, maka-communicate, maka-listen ko sa ilang mga needs, and then I can help address sa ilang mga concerns. I can serve the people. And I find it fulfilling. At least nalipay ko, murag happy ko. I did it. At least I did for Cebu.
So Sir Jerry Guardo was or is being a city councilor everything that you imagined? Katong nidagan pa ka, you're still on the outside looking in. Was this the city councilor position that you dreamed about, or are you disappointed, or are you delighted?
Sa karon
Go ahead.
Now, I'm really happy for where I am right now, no? Because I find it fulfilling ba nga ang akong dream, ang akong vision that someday after my term as a barangay captain would really to go big city councilor, so mas broader ang akong public nga mas-serve nako, matabangan ako. So I'm now an incumbent city councilor, and I am happy for the position that I am having into being the chairman of these major committees. And I find it fulfilling maka-help po nila in addressing their concerns for infrastructures, like they've been complaining that the road are very kanang guba kay ba, and then a lot of people are complaining over the years, how many years, 10 years, 15 years, it's not being fixed. So at least I'm now in the city council, and then I help them fix the road. So that for me is very fulfilling on my part. And then other constituents or other barangays are complaining that they've been experiencing flooding over the years. So I fixed their canal and their drainage nila, and I find it fulfilling. At least I was able to help fix their drainage problem. So these are mga basic nga kuan ba. For me, I find joy in serving the people. So
aside from road construction, road development, what are the other needs of the city that you have found out during your term as city councilor, sir? Unsa may mga panginahanglan sa katawhan yun nga pinaka-basic nilang kinahanglan, pinakadaghan? Daghan
man kayo, yun actually sila concern. Like, ang housing nila, ang sa housing nila.
So livelihood siguro ang solusyon na sa?
Sa housing...
Paano makapalit sila balay, yun sa man?
Like for example, sa housing, ang problema nila, they don't own that property. So they are subjected to demolitions because once the owner used the land na. So like another would be education, giving them a scholarship program, or sa health. But these are not my forte, because the good thing with the
so you notice nga mga panginahanglan sa tao is kadang mga squatter nga pawaon na, so asa sila puhon kung mapahawa na sila, mga inana.
That's another concerns, but somebody will handle that sad other councilor ba. So I just focus. The good thing about the administrations with sa Mayor Tam, he delegate responsibilities to his councilors, and you being the deputy mayor for infra, you make decision on your own what's best and what's good for the city of Cebu. So making you more effective and efficient city councilor. So that's for me. I find it more fulfilling na kay at least I can do executive functions, I can make decisions on my own and what's good for the city, how I can improve a better delivery of basic services, addressing a more efficient mas faster, mas quick ang response to their concern. That's how I wanted to make
Sir, you've been a politician for how many years now? 15, 20 years? Starting from when you were barangay captain of Sambaguno until now? Siguro? 14 years. What has all those 14 years in politics taught you, sir? What have you learned? Have you become a better or a worse person because you're a politician now?
I became a better person.
Nga naman, sir?
Nakita na ko nga, there's really a room need for more to serve ba. Nga nakita na ko nga.
How did it benefit you? How did it make you a better person nga naka sa politics?
Ang nakita na ko murag challenging magug kayo. First sa barangay nga level and then sa city council na you'll be serving the whole 80 barangays, north and south, including the mountain barangays.
So how does that make you better? Saan na pagka-improve sa
Other
imong
barangays have different concern, different problem. So I find it more challenging ba? How could I address and solve this problem?
But how does that make you a better person? Nganong kaingon maka nga you have become a better person because you're a councilor na unsa man like iniguli mo sa balay kaning imong anak or imong asawa or whoever do they think that you're a better person or nakuha ka na what I'm trying to say is not the challenges that you have now because you're a city councilor as a person when you look at yourself in the mirror. Do you think Jerry Guardo is a better person now than he was 14 years ago before he entered into politics? Tanaw ni mo, sir?
Yeah, ang nakita mo gud nako nga murag I feel I became more mature ba nga in addressing their concerns. So I become more responsible and I take responsibility sa ilang mga addressing their concerns. So ang nakita na ko nga there's really a big difference me as a person, as a councilor, and unlike nga ordinary citizen lang ko, wala I have nothing, wala ko vision, I don't care about their concern or problems. But now ang murag as a person nana ko kanang I have to think come up with the plans what's good and how can
so politics has accelerated your maturity.
Yeah.
So to speak, right? Sir, Slan say ato. It's funny that you jumped ship from the Rama Labella group to the Osmena group now, but the president, the current sitting president, is supporting the opposition in Cebu City politics, right? And you are with you're associated with a liberal group, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a correct assessment? So my question is, what are your thoughts on that? Now, although you are administration here locally, but in a way you are opposition nationally. So your opponents have the support of the president while you do not have the support of the president. What are your thoughts on how important the support of the president is in local politics?
Ang dako og tabang actually og na support sa national government, but locally sa executive magod we have our own kana allocated budget ba that we can implement mga infrastructure projects.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about winning the 2019 elections. I'm talking about that. Unsa may imuhang assessment on the importance of the support of a president in local politics.
No, if you listen to the ground actually, para nako siguro percentage lang nga na-influence ang national government ang endorsement sa president, but still people would still admire sa local regid nga kuan gyapon politician. So they do not look nga kuan bitaw ang blessing or endorsements from the president sa local nga arena nato. Still people compare good they look at the performance sa kani nga mga personalities who are running for this position. So like for example the mayor, they look at Mayor Tammy and Vice Mayor Labella running for the position as mayor, but they don't look actually who the blessing of the national government, like the endorsement of doon ay percentage lang, pero doesn't totally kuan gyud dako kayo o kuan bitaw nga effect there sa local nga election ba.
We always say that. We always say that national politics does not really affect local politics, right? But I argue that back in the time when Pinoy was president, I argue that I think he supported the mayor back then, right? So that's why he, in a way, won the elections because he had the support of the president. And at that time, I theorized that that was a special kind of endorsement because it was that time when Corazon Aquino, his mother, died, and there was so much sympathy for Pinoy at that time. So that was an extraordinary national endorsement for a local candidate. I think it was the mayor. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Pinoy, when Pinoy was president, I think he endorsed I think Tammy Osmena at that time. I'm not sure though. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was it. So his endorsement was very important for the Cebuanos to choose their mayor. Do you think? Are you downplaying the importance of a very popular president? I'd like to add, Duterte is enjoying huge approval ratings nationwide. Do you think dili na kaya mo matter in Cebu City politics? Because Cebu City, whether you like it or not, Cebu City politics is really sort of like a renegade city, right? We don't really follow the national trend as much as other parts of the Philippines, right? Especially Cebu City. We are very smart people. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like you said, Cebuanos are very smart. No? They choose their candidate. Who's the good leader for best leader that would lead Cebu City.
Okay.
So right now, kami mangod, when we campaign sa grounds, we hear the kwan sa mga 1,000 MS ba, and then ang voting nila, ang choose of candidate nila are not being influenced by the national government like President Duterte right now. So siguro at that time nga when Duterte runs for the national government kanang president siya, kuan ang diri sa local, but lahi magud ang duwa karon. Ang election karon is we choose the president, the mayor running for Cebu City. So although like I said, dunay influence ang national government endorsement ni presidente, but that's a percentage lang, and then sa among nakita, it will not really affect much ang amuang lead right now nga gikuan. So although nakita na namo nga doon nagikuan, but what we did right now is to strengthen the party nga mo increase ang voting kuan na mo para kung doon na may additional nga kuha nila sa other party.
So who's endorsing? Whose endorsement are you seeking? You yourself and your party, since you will never get the endorsement of Duterte. Do we have endorsers from the national campaign, or
we don't rely on the national government? So ang we rely on the endorsement of the Cebuano people.
Okay, so that's the only endorsement that you need.
That's our trust. Magina ang trust sa party.
So the Liberal Party candidates are not endorsing any one candidate?
No, in fact, we're not allied with the Liberal
so
Party.
Which party are you allied with? Because it is
Angara.
What's that?
Angara.
Sonny Angara?
Oh yeah.
What
LDP? I don't know sa tong party.
Okay.
I forget the party.
Okay, so you're allied with personally, or your group?
No, the group.
The group is allied with a specific candidate, Sonny Angara. So
yes,
okay, so sir, there are
LDP siguro. I think LDP.
There are better DJs, better interviewers out there. There are more brilliant people out there that are probably more suited to do this job, to do your job. Maybe smarter than me, smarter than you, who could have done this interview better, who could have served the people better. Why do you think the Cebuano should vote for Jerry Guardo? What makes you think that you are the man for the job of Cebu City Councilor?
I can,
Nagkadagang mangyingig dia. Nganong ikaw magyud sa mubong pagkastorya?
that's why. Actually, daghan kayo yun mas qualified pa sa kuha. I admit that nga kuhaan gud. Sa ako lang akong ikapasalig na ko nila sa akong mga constituente nga ang ako actually my passion to serve that my ang ako motivation and then ang ako gyud nga I think I can do perform more better and have more deliver more projects for the Cebu City. What I have implemented right now no sa kaning and also my vision is really if I'm given the chance elected to be a city councilor in the second term, I'm planning to solve we can solve the kanang flooding problem diya sa Colon. Kaya it's really getting worse. Aside from the kanang regular na tong concreting projects, mga infrastructure projects, address the drainage problem. Ang ako sa program right now kanang Minusba, I call it Minusba Task Force.
What Minusba?
Minusba Task Force. So do regular declogging of drainage nga have been clogged up because of the kanang puno na sa yuta o basura. So we do routine nga clean up.
Nga naman dili din na routine atong una sir?
No, when I became a city councilor, that's only one team and composed of only about 8 employees. So right now I add up more, make it 10 na pulo na kabuok na teams para
to address the flooding problem of Cebu City.
Yes, so
Napo ora ka tao?
before.
Karon pila naman ka tao?
Now I think mga 100 na.
Okay, good.
More. So
Okay.
para mas responsive, mas paspas ang ato.
So do they have machines to
manual
siya?
just manual declogging lang.
Okay.
And then right now I also allocated more budget for the repair of roads, the request for drainage projects. So we allocated 18 million for our sulfur projects, and then on top of the regular asphalting, but they can assure my services good, no? And then really hands-on good implementing these projects.
Sir, out of the many years that you have served as city councilor, pila na katuig? Tulo? Katulo na katuig? Upat?
Mag-3.
3 years na. Is Cebu City much better now than it was 3 years ago because there was a city councilor named Jerry Guardo?
Yes. I can say that I contributed a lot sa
Out of all the contributions that you've made, or at least all of the projects that you have headed, what stood out? Unsa may usa ka proyekto kung papilion ka usa nga murag nakaingon ka nga nindot yun ang Cebu gamay tungod na ako. Unsa ka usa ka project pili lang sa tanan nimo mga accomplishments, sir?
I'm proud of this kaning Minusba nga task force nga gi-organize, gi-create nako. Kay now I learned that a lot of people are really looking forward. They've been having problems sa ilang flooding for so many years. So at least we now serve and very quick and fast ang atong response sa ila.
So which areas have we addressed this flooding problem?
Especially those mga lowland barangays.
Okay, like for example, where?
Frequently flooded areas. Barangay Parian, diha somewhere Padilla, so Sambag-Ono, sa South
So
Side, sa
minus na ang flooding problem anang mga area, sir.
At least they're happy nga quick ang atong response sa city.
Kaning 100 ka tao, sir, nga imuhang gi-set up for the declogging what do you call that? Declogging program nato. Are these volunteers or are they employees of the government?
Employed by the city government.
Do you accept volunteer groups for your declogging program?
No, they're full-time actually.
Full-time sila.
Full-time sila.
So do they declog the city every day, or what's the
If there's
program?
a request for declogging,
So mahuwat na magmubaha kung request pa.
no, usually kung doon ay rainy season nga flooding
Okay.
ang problem, so we have to deploy as atong frequently flooded area, we have to deploy ng power. But kung wala, then we just have to maintain regular nga cleanup lang.
So you're saying flooding is one of your more crowning achievements in your short term as a councilor for 3 years now. Now, of course, flooding, sir, is one of the many problems that you have if your city is overcrowded, right? Mura og daghan na kay mga building, Daghan na kay mga tao nga lumad taga Sugbo og dili taga diri nga ganahan diri kay it's a nice place to live in. Daghan na kay taga mga auto, traffic na kayo, daghan na kay taga mga daan nga build. Sir, unsa may imong idea of the word progress? What does it mean for a city to be progressive? Kana ra bang taas og building, daghag mga daan, way baha, kaning way traffic? Kay panalaw na ko, sir, sometimes I feel nga we are looking at the wrong definition of progress. Kay dili man ni pasabot nga daghag building, progressive ang syudad. Dili man ni pasabot daghag auto, progressive ang syudad. What do you envision? What is your idea of what progress is? I have my own idea of what progress is, but I'd like to know yours first. Unsa mo gining word nga progress? What does it mean for my city, for Cebu City, to be a progressive city?
If the city can create more employment, then I find it kung progressive city, no? Kung wala na underemployed or unemployed person ba. Kay I still like, for example, if we go around dito sa mga depressed area, daghan kay unemployed. So there's still a lot of people who are seeking for employment. So kung if we cannot address this unemployment problem, meaning I cannot say that we are still a progressive city.
Okay, let me share to you my idea of a progressive city. I think a city is progressive is if a citizen feels safe. You know, if I can walk around the city, if I can breathe fresh air, if I don't get inconvenienced by traffic jams, if I feel safe, I think that's also a progressive city. I think building structures, building roads, building taller, bigger, more intricately designed, technologically advanced buildings is not necessarily the idea of what progress is. I think to be able to breathe fresh air, kana lang, simple na kinasana. I think that's also what a progressive city should be as well, right?
Yeah.
Kani mga tao nga imong pasabot sa nga why employment sometimes dili ni taga diri, ang uban taga diri pero kanang mura og I don't know, maybe they just need encouragement perhaps, or kukuwang lang sila og education like you said. So eventually I think we can solve that problem, right?
Like for example, being the chairman sa infra, no, there have been a lot of applications for construction, high-rise building, and yet daghan tag mga tao dito sa depressed area they not landed for a job dito sa city.
May trabaho.
So para nako like karon massive kayo ang constructions, left and right, boom kayo, construction boom. But still, there's still a lot of people nga wala.
So are you suggesting, sir, based on what you've seen in the campaign and during your time as councilor, daghan siya pong kayong mga kabus sa atong mga igsunan dito sa mga imong mga areas nga natuan?
Yeah, napagya po daghan sa
way mga panginabuhi or mga panginabuhi kulang ra?
Kulang kayo ang kuha nila. So ang uban sa standby. So murag that's why ang drugs grabe kayo because of the
let's go to that. The drug problem. Kaning unsa may pananaw mo ning drug problem, sir? Kaning is this problem blown out of proportions or tinuod gini grabe jud kani ang atong drug problem diri sa Cebu City?
Grabe gud ang pero right now sa administration ni Duterte para nako nakakuan ko na minus gud na reduce gud ang kanang kuan, unlike sa una nga grabe kayo ang proliferation bitaw murag natural ra kay bang trading bitaw.
Pero is this in the barangay level? Is it in the depressed areas nga murag natural kayo or is it just everywhere? Before this whole drug war came about. It's
everywhere pero grabe dominant kayo diri sa kuan kay murag easy magud para sa mga kuan ba katong out of kuan job bitaw employment ba.
So depressed areas.
Depressed areas kung asa ang easy money bitaw nga kuan ba murag enticing kayo. So mo na nga.
So tanaw nimo kadaghanan sa mga ni apil aning drug trade is from the depressed areas kay the easy way out, right? So financial gyapon ang nature sa problema. Kung napato sila panginabuhi nga tarong napato sila if they had a job to report to every day, basig dili sila magmaligag drogas. Is that what you're suggesting, sir?
That's why.
So livelihood gyud sir.
Livelihood gyud ang problem. That's why.
So what are your thoughts on his approach to the drug problem? Kung inana ka, pat yun lang ka. Mo man ang atong sort of our approach, right? Because it's a drug war. So instead of looking for a way to change you or to make you a better citizen, a productive citizen, may pag-eliminate lang ka. What are your thoughts on that? On the approach of the administration now when it comes to the drug problem?
Ang ako lang question ba nga ang kuan gyud ang trust sa national government would really to go after this kind of manufacturing ang source ba. If we can control the source, then dili na siya mabot diri sa mga kuan, mga gagmay ra magud mga trader bitaw.
Oh, so asa man ning nay planta diri sa Cebu City or is it imported sa man siya?
Kung asa kuan, but what I'm saying kung asa gyud ang source mo gyud ang kuan, but siguro national government kibalo na sila, they have identified kung asa.
But do you think that there's a plant?
Grabe bong kung grabe gyapon kayo, di ba? People are wondering bisa grabe na kayo ang kuan sa national sa president sa iyang campaign against drugs, war on drugs, pero ibong ka nga daghan gyapon ka tagpila gyapon ka kilos nga madakpan nga na, so magkapungutan na taasam gyud ang source ani nga di mo gyud sa di pagsud ani diri sa atoa. So manang unya ang kani mga kuan mo na ang diri sa masa enticing kayo sa ilahang
Because they have no option, right? Either they die or they make die making a living selling drugs, right?
Yeah, if you listen to them, mingon sila bahala na lang mamatay ko.
Mamatay ram gyapon ko kuway kaon, di ba?
Kuway kaon, mamatay mo sa gyapon ko. Mao na ang ilahang kuan.
So really that's really prevalent mentality in the depressed areas?
Mo na ilang kuan, they really risk their life rather than wa man gyapon for them actually they're really also having hard time to find a job kay balo bawaan mo sila nga they're into drugs, so ang mga companies murag wala lisod na kayo murag kuan bitaw exploited na sa sila ba nga dili kuan
they cannot go back to society because they're already a known drug dealer or drug addict, right?
Most na ang problema na nila, so wa gyud sila yung lahing choice. Manadali ra sila matintal matam sila nga to get.
This drug problem, sir, is not specific to Cebu City or the Philippines, right? Everywhere you go in the world, there is a drug problem. And I think, I keep on mentioning to most of my friends and people that I interview, it is a social problem, it's a psychological problem that needs to be addressed the appropriate way. And I think one of the things that we should do is to maybe give psychiatric or psychological help to these depressed areas, right? In fact, one of my ideas was to really bring in a psychologist or psychiatrist in the barangay level, so we can help inspire people to think the right way, to help them sort of mentally approach problems appropriately and in a more healthy way.
So I'm glad that we have a lot of spaces that we have developed, like you mentioned, Fort San Pedro. Ang Fuente Osmena, I think, is also being developed right now, right? Nasa mo rin nindot nagamay ang Fuente Osmena na to. Pwede na tayo magka-standby dito.
But ang plan diya ni Mayor was really to put up a fountain ba?
Oh. There was a fountain before, right?
Pero mas gwapo na ang fountain nga karon nga we're planning to develop diya sa para mas appealing, mas relaxing bitaw siya nga kuan ba. Like katong sa Manila nga kuan
Manila Bay sa
colored nga nana music nga nana ba nga mas relaxing ka, you enjoy the kuan fresh breath air diya nga kuan.
Because I think what we have to think about is, because we always craft our cities based on more successful cities, right? In fact, the country that I hear a lot, the city that we love to compare ourselves is Singapore. For example, ang ganahan nga, parehitag Singapore, o parehitag Japan, o parehitag New York, all these progressive cities ba. And I think sometimes we get blinded by how successful they are, but we forget about the backstory also nga. For example, ang suicide rate sa Japan kay puti na taas kay grabe kay competitive na ba. So I think building spaces for its inhabitants, for our inhabitants, for the Cebuanos to breathe, I think is crucial. Of course, ang example ni sa New York City, for example, nasa like Central Park, right? Nga mga tao dito kung sabuton, kung ma-stress mo relax, makadagandagan, ikaw runner masaga. I think it's important for the people to have a place to jog, to run, so that they have exercise, and they can breathe again. Balik na sa hangin, breathe fresh air. And I think that's crucial in the word development. So dili lang kay mag-build ta kung mag-build ta. I think we have to think about the mental and the psychological state of our people. Basig matuliling na itong mga katawan.
I was planning to kuan jigi to develop ang kanang atong Buhisan Dam ito.
Buhisan Dam?
Oh yeah,
Okay, sir.
sa Eco Park ba?
Okay.
Nga ma-develop sa tanang ma-declare na to na sa Eco Park.
Okay.
Nga dito maka-jog ka, murag na kay trail run, trail bike, yung na, then you can do picnic. It's really a nice place yun nga kuan. But so this one that we are considering to develop more parks ba. And then not only there is sa lowland because we have limited space existing ang mga parks na to, but we are now considering there is sa kuana sa mountain barangays.
Okay, sir. I want to go back to another issue again. The fact that you changed parties from the Labella Rama group to the Osmena group. Do you have any regrets? Pagbalhin mo, sir, nagbasol ka, nalipay na ka sa imuhang gibuhat, o niya, do you see yourself going back to the previous group that you had? Napabay pag-asa nga, mabalik ka dito, or murag nahiluna na ka diya, nalipay na ka sa imuhang where you are now? For example, ang mayor na to, let's say for example, si Labella, for example, administration na sad siya, ikaw, opposition na sa mahog. So, do you think there's a possibility nga, mabalik na sa kanila Labella kay so that your position will not be, will not be for naught because you don't have any access to funds, for example?
If you look at Kuan Jigi, no, sa story, no, kana actually sila si Mayor Mike, silang Labella, they all actually came from BOPK.
Correct, yeah.
The reason nga ni Kuan siguro, because they have more reason also nga they wanted to serve, no? So the same sad siguro sa ako, the reason why Kuan, because I'm looking at opportunity, nga asa ko nga magamit ko.
You're more effective.
More effective ko sa mga tao, I can be of service sa mga tao. So, ang principle na mo, I think we also have the same, di ba? Nga Kuan, so, for now, at nakita na ko nga I'm happy for where I am right now, no, nga effective ko sa ako ang position karon nga I'm with the executive, I'm with the administration, and then I can do what what is best for the people. Sa akong committee chairmanship assign ako nga I was able to deliver and address all their concerns nga so practically the same ramang gyapon, they have the same concern, gusto sad nila mo serve sad sila, di ba? So
are you discounting the possibility of maybe perhaps returning to your old party if they become the incumbent instead?
Sa pagkakaroon where I am right now, I'm happy for where I am, for whatever the outcome of the election would be. So it's I don't know what's their plan. So but sa karon I just stick to where I am.
Sir, sorry to use this word, because this word is really a term that we use a lot, but this is actually not an appropriate word because there are no ideological differences magod between parties. Right, kanang word nga balimbing, di ba? Nga balimbing mo balay-bali lang ka. Pero the fact of the matter is, you're not moving from one ideology to another, di ba? Ang imuhang purpose pagbalhin mo is your will, your desire to serve, and you feel nga you are more effective if you go to the other party. But nganong wa may ideological difference, sir, ang partido sa Cebu, sir? In fact, I think that goes for the entire Philippines, right? Murag wala tay kalahian ba? Nga to ang pagbutar, the way people vote is the personality. Mo na mga artista makadaog. Mo nang mga anak og artista makadaog. Number 1 si Grace Po karon, di ba? And Lito Lapid, I think is number 5, right? And Manny Pacquiao obviously is a senator. Personality driven ta, sir ba? Ngano ka, sir? Unsa imong theory na, sir? Ngano man wa man tay ideology? Meaning to say, nga ani ko, akong partido sa Cebu ani mi. Kung ganahan mo ani butar ko, because this is the right way to run a city. Kung dili ka ganahan ako, ayo buton ako. Pero convinson ka na ako ang mudagan na ako. Ganahan ko nga kanang dili kay ta mo build og buildings, for example, dili kay ta mo palabi asang gibati mag-build tag kaning more structures. Ganahan ko nga ang mga tao kanang malipayon. Ganahan ko nga for example, psychologist nga kada barangay. Amo ni ang ako ang prinsipyo. kung nganong dili man ideological ang ato ang differences between parties, sir, nganong dili man ingon na.
Actually,
Ano,
namang gyapon na yung mga butante nga geologists bito.
Dili, pero dili man na sila maka inana kung wala sila kapilian nga ideology, dili sila maka diri ko mutuo kani, diri ko ani, wala man, there's no ideological framework per party.
Mo gusto sila nakita gyud nga kuan gyud bitaw nga common nga stand ba. Ang ila is more of the personality ra magud ang nakuha sa mga tao. So that's why I position myself kay they look at the personality man nga what you can do for the city. Unsay mahimo nimo sa syudad. If I vote for you, mo trabaho ba ka, mo serbisyo ba ka, or di ba, or you just stand on your principle, ang imong akuan, stand ka being an opposition ka. So mo na ang kuwas mga tao, they look at the individual candidate kung unsay gihimo nimo sa city. If I elect you, if I vote for you, unsa may imong gitrabaho, nagserbisyo ba ka, wala, at the end of the day is the people who will decide, who will ask for your track record. Nga unsay imong gitrabaho, sayangan ko, wala ka. Although you stand on your principle nga being opposition ka, there's check and balance, but at the end of the day, people would still demand from you what you did and what you're doing for the city. What's the service you're doing?
The more effective politicians have brands, right? Na sila murag sa advertising, sa marketing pa na branding. There's a Duterte branding, right? Like, tough guy. Like I'm going, straight talking tough guy. Muna brand ni Duterte. The other side, the yellows, they have history. Like they have Pinoy, Corazon Aquino, and of course our national hero Benigno Aquino Jr. And all that stuff. You're effective if you have a sort of a brand. Ang problema lang karon, I think this is not probably a bad thing for Cebu City nga wala kahit ideological difference, because in the national level divided man kita, di ba? Dutards and Yellowtard. Sige tag-away, di ba? If you notice in social media, nga mga Yellowtard, nga mga Dutard, nga sige lang away social sa Facebook, makakita, sumunod lang very divided, di ba? So I think I've been complaining about that a lot, but I think it's not a bad thing altogether. Sa nga wala tay ideological difference ba between parties, but at least kaning dili kayo lahi sa atong pagpartido, di ba? Tanaw nimo, sir?
Yeah, actually mo na nakita na ako nga
wala ba na ni seep in sa grassroots nga kanang mga Yellowtard o mga Dutard sa pangampanya nimo dito sa kuan sa barangay level.
Wala kayo. People ang gitan-og nila kisay nakatabang nila. And then namurag na establish na diri sa biopic nga brand bitaw nga service gud ba. They have these programs nga like the healthcare program nila, ang kanang CHAM, the long life program, ang kanang sa scholarship program, education nila, sa healthcare nila. So mo ni gitanaw ang kanang how you address kanang sa ilahang kanang sa ilang urban poor bitaw nga house ko nila. So mo ni ilang gitanaw, if you can provide and deliver basic services nga unsay need nila, then they will support the party, they will also support the group kung kisa tayo nakatabang nila. Dili on the principle bitaw nga religious kayo, wala ang ilahagid kinsa to'y nakatabang nila, and then that's the good thing lang kay right now they don't like I said, small percentage lang ang influence sa endorsement sa national government. Ang local gyapon o kasi ito yung nakatabang nila. If the other camp offer better service, then they'll go for it. Kung asa to sila nga murag di feel nga murag ma-address ang ilang concern, ma-address ang ilang problem kasi makatabang nila. That's how the Cebuano people.
You win an election by, of course, getting more votes. Mo gina basic principle ng election, di ba? Mas daghang botar, mo yung kadaog. The problem here is if you have political will, if you exert political will on a certain issue. Let's say, for example, let's give an example kanang angkas, kanang mga habal-habal, kanang mga PUJ, right? Kaning mo ginay mura og makakos, one of the primary causes, especially the PUJ, right? It's archaic, Jurassic means of transportation nga kinahanglan should be extinct by now. In fact, a lot of progressive cities do not have PUJs anymore. They have bigger, more sophisticated means of transportation, right? kung naa kay political will, kung ganahan jud kag progress sa imong syudad, imo nang panginabuhis lang lain, imo nang iwagtangon ng PUJ for example. Ngano man sir nga wala pa may naka-exert og political will at tungod ba because they just want their political survival, why can't we offer, let's say, the PUJ drivers alternative livelihood, for example? We don't have that yet. Wala pa tay alternatives for them. Nga bahala nag ma-traffic tag samot, bahala na kaysa wa sila panginabuhi kay basig dili sila mabutar nako inig election.
Like actually ang kaning BRT RJ no. Once this will be implemented, daghan gyud kayo ang mga kuana na mga displaced nga mga PUJ drivers ba. But so mo
anong ma-displace man sila sir? Imo lang
kuan man ang ruta, ma-affected man ang ruta.
so mohinay ang ilahang
kaya
kuan.
may designated na nga route ang BRT.
Okay, so mohinay na ang mga PUJ mahog.
Ang ilahang murag feeders na lang sila ba. So mo usab ilang route dito na lang sa mga interior nga part.
Okay.
Mo deliver na lang sila kung asang station.
Okay.
Ihatod na lang nila dito ang mga passengers,
Okay.
mga commuters. So they will be affected yun. So mo na
So the BRT is already ongoing or wala pa? Next election pa na? Next. So na siya. That's an issue, right? That's an issue nga. If you vote for, I think, the Osmena group, you will have the BRT solution for the traffic woes of Cebu.
It's already approved sa DOTR.
Okay.
And then I think the president already signed, no?
Okay.
During the NEDA nilang meeting.
So what's stopping the mayor from implementing it?
So I think we're just awaiting from the national government yun ang kuan implementation anak because the funds are coming from the national government. So we're just awaiting lang there is a local.
So implementation lang gina. So is that an election issue? Because I see that on the posters of Nami Osmena, BRT check or whatever that means. Is that an election issue pa or approved na maghanang anong election issue pa man na?
No, we're just awaiting for the implementation kay mugo signal man ang
National government.
ang national government.
So wala pa tana,
There napay mga little minor na lang kay nga concerns sa
Okay.
right of way, road right of way
Okay.
acquisition sa.
So how many buses or BRTs will there be in Cebu City, sir, if that operation is in full swing? Tanaw nimo.
Daghan na
Nga
siya.
kabot
Alam ko yung
gatos?
ideal. So I
Gatos?
think more.
More than that?
Oh, more than that nga kon. Kay that way kuha na ang mga katong mga jeepneys nila mausab ito ang ilang route nila. Like they cannot pass by the Colon Fuente nga area. So kung asang pinakaduol nga stations, if you're Guadalupe, i-fed na lang ka dito.
Ikaw sir, musakay ka na sir. Musakay ka na. Di ka kung ikaw ba if you had a choice, would you ride the BRT? Nindot ba na siya? Aircon ba na siya? Komportable ba na yung siya? Dili ba na hugaw?
Comfortable man kay
Okay. What kind of buses are we using here, sir? Unsa man ni siya nga daggo ni siya nga bus?
dagko nga bus. Kabantay kang gadagan nga mga existing bito nga air condition.
Yeah.
Una na siya nga
Inana
bus
siya.
na.
Okay.
Onya air condition siya. So comfortable kay
Asa man ang mga pick-up points niya, for example? Nana siya mga pick-up points.
No,
Di ba?
doon ay mga designated areas nga pick-up points.
Okay.
Like from in Bacao dito sa Pardo, Bulacau, all the way up there sa Fuente, then going to Ayala. Yan na mo na ang first nga route.
Murag may bus yung size or palaya mas dako mas gamay magina na. May bus kanang may bus.
Oh, inana
kada ka.
Air condition niya mas comfortable ka relax. Inana mga kuan na. But ang karon man gud nga
Ang pliti na sir, mas is it also the same as or similar to kanang pliti sa jeep or mas mahal na si Jutay? Pliti, if ever. What's the program?
You have to mas barato reasonable ra mas siguro. I don't know exactly kung pila gyud ang amount, no? Pero ang gikuan mo gud na gud nga as instead nga katong sa mas mahal man, di ba? Ang katong kuan ba. So mo na gi-push lang for now nga mas alternative mode of transport nga mas cheaper kay compared sa ato ang MRT. Mas transit bitaw. Mas mahal na siya pero actually there's a need na good clamor for a need mas transit sad. So people will choose which best nga mas affordable nila nga kuan asang convenient nga mas paspas mas dali sila. So we're offering actually two alternative mode of transport in the future, mo nang sa BRT and then katong sa mass transit, pero lain-lain man gud ang ruta nila nga serve. But eventually, like if you travel sa gawas, di ba, nga kuan, di ba, dahil man na monorail, na BRT, na mass transit, na daghang kapilian kay bisan sa Hong Kong daghan kayo ang transportations pero di pa nimo ma-serve tanan nagay pa yung mga traffic.
But you see a lot of people walking around because they can, right?
Oh, that's actually ang direction ni kuan ni Mayor.
I'd love to see city full of people just walking around, going from one transport service to another.
Oh, inalam lakaw gyud ka nga. So that's why that way ma-eliminate, ma-reduce na ang kuan nila sa ilang private vehicle. Kay if you offer them convenient nga you kuan na lang ka, mas transport na lang ka, you don't have problem nga mag-park ka asa ka mag-park sa imong car. O nya paspas pa kayo. If it would take you mag vehicle, private vehicle nimo would take you mga 1 hour ka traffic kayo, mas transit ka 5 minutes lang nana ka dito sa imong office. So ang people would choose nga, magsakay na lang ko o mas transit na lang ko, di na lang ko magdala sa akong car, ibili na lang ako sa balay.
Of course, you have to feel safe also, right? Nga dili ka kawatan or di ka dunggabon niya ang lugar, di ba?
That's actually our direction nga gikuha na to sa city mo na gikuha na mayor by providing the mass transport, the BRT. So people murag dili na sila ganahan mo gamit sa ilang car because like going to Talamban alone would take you mga 2 hours. Traffic kayo, heavy kay traffic. But if you ride, kung doon ay kanang mas transit na, and then from Talamban to Ayala would only take you mga 5 minutes lang, nana ka dito. So you'd rather sakay na lang kag MRT, mag-commute na lang ka. So, but we saw
So that will be implemented if ever the government will give you the go signal immediately, or unsa man na siya? Is there a timetable for that?
Timetable gyud kay ang
Unsa man, like this year, next year, unsa may plano sa BRT? Because it's just a matter of acquiring buses, right? It's not like you have to build a railway for that, di ba? Dito naman na, palit sa bus, go, di ba? O napa na siya mga napainlain i-build nga infrastructure around it. Wala na.
Ang mga stations niya.
Mga stations.
They are
pero sa'yo naman na, dili man kayo nalisod o dugay himuon, di ba? Ang stations, di ba?
Di na kayo. I'll check and find out what takes.
Is there a website that they can go to so that they will know more about the BRT project? Naba na siya sa city nga website? Wala ba kay idea na, sir?
Wala pa. I'll check on that.
Sir, as presently constituted, the city of Cebu, as the mix of councilors and our mayor and vice mayor, are you optimistic or are you pessimistic about the state of the future of our city of Cebu? Kaning tanaw nimo?
Optimistic ako sa kaniya to, the way it is
things are going
right
now.
now. Yeah, okay man ang kuan. In fact, I'm happy and be part of the sa planning ba. So sa direction setting sa city. And I confident lang sa kung the way we're implementing one projects at a time. There are projects man gud nga you cannot rush bitaw nga dili kayo makuan because of the bureaucratic nga kuan ba. But if mandate lang sa city after the elections nga kuan, I think mas pas ang.
So you think as a city councilor from the inside, you feel Cebu City has a very bright future up ahead?
Yeah. No, I'm confident about it. Dako gyud kayo, and there's still we can do and we can do a lot for the Cebuanos.
And speaking of Cebuanos, sir, daghan matag naminaw or nananaw karon sa ato ang programa, the Pilosopo podcast. What's your message to Cebuano out there? How do we make Cebu City an even a better city than it already is?
Actually, primarily ang major good nga concern nila karon ang kanig yung sa traffic. Mao gina ang kuan sa mga Cebuanos, di ba? Nga worst good kay ba. So ang ako lang we can assure them that we are already talking about the implementation. First ang BRT, and then we already discussed in the council ang kanang we're open to the council for the implementation sa mass transit.
Okay.
So once we implement all kani mga mode of transport, alternative mode of transport, then it will really help ease sa atong traffic congestions diri sa Cebu City. Then we entertain grabe man ang kanang kuan bitaw influx sa kuan ba investment diri sa Cebu City. So at least makatabang sa alleviate sa katong sa mga depressed nga mga areas, mga barangays, no, mahatagan sila employment opportunity. And then once nga makuha ang income sa city, then we can provide mga basic services. We can continue to provide mga basic needs nila, address nila ang ilang healthcare program, mga sa efficiency sa garbage collections. We have now a new landfill that we can that by June or July we could reduce our expense for the garbage by more than 50%. So ang savings ato we will give we will buy more dump trucks, brand new dump trucks para mas efficient ang ato ang garbage collections. So at least ma-solve na to one at a time ang mga basic yun kayo nga problema sa mga Cebuanos. So kanilang infrastructures, we are natay mga diversion roads nga naa sa tong timeline nga opening, like for example from Lahog to Capitol and to Guadalupe. It's already in the pipeline nga we will open new access road para to divert ang mga traffic ba nga dili na sila moagi diri sa heavily kanang congested kayo nga traffic. So nya sa Mountain Barangay we have more access. Ang national government are planning to have kanang from Naga all the way up to Danau City nga access road nga so kita murag mo connect na lang ta dito sa Mountain Barangay that if you want to go to Danau you pass by the mountain area para mas accessible, mas dili na yung traffic.
So how about Jerry Guardo, the first termer who's asking the Cebuano to give him another chance, another term, right? Unsa man imuhang mensahe sa mga katawhan, sir? What is your message to the Cebuano? Why should they elect you for a second time?
Well, ang ako lang ikapasalig sa mga Cebuano, no? If you choose and vote for me, I will assure you nga I will do what is best for the city, and then I will be more hands-on implementing these projects. I will be more sensitive sa inyong mga concerns, mga problems ninyo. So practically, I already heard their common complaints ba. So drainage, flooding, mga infrastructure projects. So it's already in the pipeline, and I will closely coordinate and asking support from the national government to the DPWH for more infrastructure projects, not only coming from the city coffers, but also i-consider na to ang funds coming from the national government, consolidate na to, and then delivery of basic services. I wanted to help na paspas, more kuan bitaw, responsive ang ato ang mga personnel nga sa unsay concern nila. Whatever the vision sa executive, ang mayor kay naman siya vision for the city. So I will support what is vision that is good for the city. But very objective ko kung unsay ito appropriate lang para sa ato ang Cebuanos. But looking at the direction that the executive are planning, I think we're in the katuan timeline na to sa pag-execute, no? So we just have to be kuan na kayong Cebuano ba kuan, but a little patience na lang. But we are doing everything what is good for the city of Cebu.
If they want to know more about or get in touch with Jerry Guardo, Councilor Jerry Guardo, where do they go on social media? Or maybe you have an office or a phone number that they can call, email address, or Facebook page, Instagram, whatever?
I'm actually after this campaign kay medyo busy lang, but I'm actually in the sa office lang ako. I stay in the office hands-on good bas wala lay mga other meetings outside. I stay in my office, and then they can contact me through my office.
How about your social media, sir? Do you have an active Facebook page?
Jerry Guardo.
On Facebook?
Facebook, yes.
So do you maintain that site? What I mean is, do you correspond to the queries and the interaction with your audience?
Yeah, I give them my hotline number, my cell phone number, and then my Facebook. Sometimes I post through social media what projects if they need concerns, like for example repair for their kanang puso deep well nila. So I post to social media if you have concern, you wanted to have your repair.
So pwede rin sa mga ligot-got sa katuhan, pwede nila i-post po dito?
Yeah. They can, in fact, I encourage to make their comments asa dapita, asa nga area nga barangay, or request for declogging, asa dapita, or request for asphalting, asa nga area. So we can schedule nga kuan. Then if I know their concern, then I'll check. Sometimes if I have time, I go hands-on, monitor implementation of these asphalting projects, mga drainage projects. So practically all the basic infrastructure projects, I'm really go hands-on to the grounds.
The very hands-on Councilor Jerry Guardo. Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to thank you for spending a chunk of your time this Saturday morning here at this beautiful hotel, the Cebu Grand Hotel Family Room. Thank you so much, Noreen and Carlo, for, of course, assisting us and allowing us to use your room here for the Pilosopo podcast. Thank you so much, and enjoy your day. Thank you.
All right! Picture. Picture sa baby. Turn on the aircon first, Mick. Panimutan baby.
Okay na to, Jake.
Nindot kayo.
Ha?
Nagahangan akong copy and sir. Itagan ako. Picture may ilapin. We always forget picture. Ano? Better ka muna. Sir.
Pilis ako.
Muna ko lang ba?